Hello and welcome to Acnn News on the Hour. First, the top stories. The wife of the primate of all Nigerian presidents of Mothers Union, Women's Guild and Girls Organization, Mrs. Angela Ndokuba, has encouraged women to keep up with the good work they are doing in the church. The Bishop of the Anglican Diocese on the Niger, the Right Reverend Dr. Owen Nwokolo, calls on Christians to adhere to the status of Christ, as that qualifies one to be a friend of Christ. Plus, a professor of pharmaceutical and medicinal chemistry of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, Professor Mrs. Patient Ugo Amaka Osadibe, says it is right for the church to step in the provision of quality health care. And now to the news in details. The wife of the primate of all Nigerian presidents, Mothers Union and Women's Guild and Girls Organization, Mrs. Angela Ndokuba, has encouraged women to keep up the good work they are doing in the church, saying that their behavior can attract their husbands to follow them to church and be faithful Christians as well. Mrs. Angela Ndokuba made this known in an interview with Acnn News Crew in Abuja at St. Barnabas Anglican Church, Jahi 1, Abuja.
I want to thank God for the dedication service, and I noticed that we have quite a lot of women in the church more than the men, and I felt so happy about it. So I want to encourage our women, especially the vicar's wife and the evangelist's wife that are working amongst them, that they should keep up with the good work they are doing among the women. Because if the men are lacking behind and the women are also lacking behind, then the church here will die. But I'm encouraged with the number of children, the number of women, the number of young people. And I want to ask that they will be more encouraged by bringing them up in the assistant activities, letting them to be involved in what we are doing. And the women also, I want to encourage them to bring their husbands. It is not enough that the women and children should come to church and the men will be at home. Yes, we know that in most of our churches, women are of greater number, but here is an exception. So we want to also appeal to them to work on their husbands. Through the way they behave, there's a way they will behave, and their behavior can also attract their husbands to follow them to church.
The Bishop of the Diocese on the Niger, the Right Reverend Dr. Owen Nwokolo, has told Christians that God is calling them to be his friends. The bishop made this known in a sermon during the confirmation and admission service at Holy Trinity Anglican Church, Awada Archdeaconry. Speaking further, the diocesan called on the confirmation candidate and all believers to adhere to the status of Christ, adding that doing so we qualified one to be a friend of Christ. He encouraged all to bear the fruit of the Spirit, adding that by so doing they will win souls for Christ through their actions and inaction. The service, which witnessed the salvation of new souls who were prayed for by Bishop Nwokolo to be useful vessels for the kingdom mandate, also featured inspection of work ongoing at the main factory complex as well. as the confirmation of good number of young ones by the bishop and the admission of young girls, young wives, young boys, and men were admitted into Women's Guild, Girls Guild, Anglican Boys Fellowship, Christian Men's Fellowship. A political analyst, Venerable Smart Simon, speaking during Acnn TV morning show now streaming, has condemned the basis for the increase in salary of political office holder, stating the politicians are insensitive to the plight of Nigerians, especially at the time Nigerians are suffering.
This is a country where we are still struggling with the minimum wage of 70,000. Salaries cannot even pay their transportation any longer to office. It cannot buy a bag of rice for them. If you collect 18,000, what are you going to buy in the market? That goes to show that our politicians are insensitive to the plight of Nigeria. And that also tells us that it is time for Nigerians to rise up, use your PVC well, and know the kind of people you are going to vote into office. You should just go there to serve people. It should be a part-time something. There shouldn't be any salary attached to it. And then you will know how many people will contest for that position. There is need for political office holders to sacrifice for this country. This to demand for increase of salary at this point in time shows that the political holders are insensitive to the plight of Nigerians. Because this is the time that Nigerians are suffering so much and they've not been able to get their minimum wage, and now you want more for yourself. It is insensitive. They should bury that idea. Let the minimum wage be paid first before the political office holders will think about increasing their own salary.
A professor of pharmaceutical and medicinal chemistry of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, Professor Mrs. Patient Ogoamaka Osadibe, says it is ripe for the church to step in the provision of quality health care, adding that when the health and education of the people is cared for, reaching out to them will be easy. She made this known in an interview with Acnn News Crew in Abuja.
I believe in theophilia and philanthropy. Theophilia is the love of God, and philanthropy is the love of fellow human beings. I've been looking for opportunity to combine these two because they are two out of my values I pursue. So this is a good opportunity, and I think it is right. I'm happy that the Church of Nigeria, Anglican Communion, is pursuing this. Can see that the government is not prioritizing some of the things that ought to be prioritized. Government is not prioritizing health the way they should. And I think it's time the church should step in. Some denominations are already there. One major denomination we know in Nigeria, they're already there. But Anglican Church want to step in a more practical form into this ministry, ministering to people through their health. I discovered that whenever you want to reach a people with the gospel and you start with their health, education, you affect them permanently. So what the church can do, first of all, we do mobilization, awareness, getting many people to register in the insurance scheme so that they can get drug at affordable prices. Then health education, practical health education. And there's also what can be done. As many people as have money, don't wait for those people to register on those health schemes. We can save money, register a whole family, 2 families, and we'll be making impact and begin to be relevant like those of the old. The CMS and all these missionary brands that worked earlier in the 20th century, they did very well. I hope we will go back to where they stopped, no matter the hindrance. I think this issue of affecting people for kingdom should be like Esther said, if I perish, I perish. But the work of the kingdom must be done, both practically, spiritually, and all avenues, legitimate avenues available to us.
You have been watching ACN News on the Hour. Still to come. The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, urges Nigerians to try the newly launched personal income tax calculator. This story and others will come your way after this short break. Please stay tuned.
Hello viewers, welcome to this week's episode on Health Watch on Advent Cable Network Nigeria. I am Angela Emeka Ebibo.
What we need as humans is to have a good spiritual life. It's more important than having an abundance of possessions without a healthy spirit.
We have issues that relate to sexual affairs. There is something called consent. If a person says no, that means she or he hasn't given their consent.
My mother delivered children on her own. A baby that is too big, how do you want it to come out without having issues?
Your faith does not negate you going for a medical check or engaging in a medical therapy. It doesn't.
The patient has his own rights, and this right has to do with the right patient, the right drug, the right dose, the right duration, you understand? Even the right time in how it is given.
In terms of true worship, we must seek the Lord. We will not be able to come with all our perfections.
We will recognize as superseding every other gift. So love, in essence, is very important. Our position is who we are. Our disposition is the way we relate to who we are. So it's not about your position, it's also about your disposition. People of God, I want to tell you that no matter who you are, no matter your position, your status,
you have encountered that superior power, the efficacious power of the blessing.
It says this God hears prayers, and then he expands the limits of whose prayer is heard.
Beaming from the nation's capital, we bring to you the good news through various programming, news updates, worship, and teachings.
The paralysis of sin makes us to be separated from God.
Contact us for your live streaming solutions and event coverage, such as synods, conferences, seminars, revivals, and lots more. Engage us in showcasing your brands and services to the world through adverts and sponsorship. We also offer latest broadcast equipment for rent, all at affordable prices. Tune in to ACNN TV via any free-to-air decoder with the following installation parameters: Intelsat 20 satellite with tuning frequency 12562 MHz, symbol rate 30 Mbps, orbital position 68.5 degree east, and horizontal polarization. You can also keep in touch with episodes of our programs via these social media platforms. For inquiries, please call 070-3265-6544 or mail us via enquiries@acnntv.com. ACNN, reaching the world with the undiluted Word of God.
Getting started with Konayo. Get the Konayo app from the Play Store for Android or Apple App Store for iPhone. Open the app, register, enter your full name, enter your email, choose a password, repeat password, enter the code sent to your email and verify. You are now ready to explore. On the home screen, select membership, enter your full name, enter your email, enter your phone number, select your birthday, enter your city and state, enter your address, select your province, select your diocese, enter your church name, review and submit your membership registration. That's it. You are now a part of the Konayo community. To make a donation, Click on Donate to Con. Click on Donate. Enter your full name. Enter your email. Enter your phone number. Select donation type. Select currency. Enter amount to donate. Select your province. Select your diocese. Click on Donate to proceed. This will open the Flutterwave checkout page. Fill in your card details and proceed. Enter your card PIN. Enter the OTP sent to your number and proceed to complete payment. To purchase a material on the Konayo app, launch the app on the home screen. Click on Con Store. Select the type of material you want. Select the specific material. If required, select Year. Click Pay to proceed with payment. This will open the Flutterwave checkout page. Fill in your card details and proceed. Enter your card PIN. Enter the OTP sent to your number and proceed to complete payment. Your purchase is complete and you can enjoy your material. Close and reopen the Konayo app. Navigate to the material you paid for. You will now have full access to the material.
Welcome back, viewers. You are still watching ACNN News on the Hour. For more on our top stories, please visit our website at acnntv.com or our social media platform on facebook.com or youtube.com/ACNN Television. To be up to date with our news and other programs, download the ACNN TV app, Avo TV app, Net Ninja TV app, Limex World TV app, or Android TV app from Google Play Store or iOS Store. And you can also advertise your goods and services on ACNN TV. And now moving on, Dr. David Wandu, an ophthalmologist, has said that the Anglican Healthcare Training Institution will deliberately put into consideration expertise needed in the health institutions, further explaining that will be made to ensure that specialists trained will be infused into the system with attractive pay package so they can effectively give back.
Well, first of all, you can only manage what is under your control. Whatever we say with respect to other training institutions will just be a suggestion. Our own training institutions will deliberately put into consideration some of those expertise that we need in the health institutions in order to give the best. And when the people that go through that training come out from that training, they should be rest assured that they'll be infused into the same system so that they can also come and deliver what was taught them. And we make sure that all those expertise that we need, that the courses and curriculums that will fuel that are all in the universities and School of Health and School of Nursing and all those institutions that are owned by the Anglican Church, the different dioceses that own institutions. Some other dioceses are also planning to come up with their own institutions. When they do, they will also pay attention to those areas. Now, we want to make sure that the pay package should also be lucrative enough to encourage people that are traveling out to know that they can also come in and give back because they were trained under those institutions to give back to the same system. And then it is a mission-based establishment. Does not mean that it shouldn't be made attractive enough to make people want to also come there to function. So I think I'll still leave it at that. It's still at the level of planning. We've not started executing them. So what you see them when it's time to execute them.
Now moving on to other national issues, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has urged Nigerians to try the newly launched personal income tax calculator that estimates how much would be paid under the tax reform of his administration recently signed into law. Posting on his official X account, the president said the calculator allows citizens to compare their estimated tax under the proposed reform with current rates and ensure a clear understanding of the impact on individual income, adding the reform, which takes effect from January 2026, are intended to establish a fair tax system, one that never punishes poverty or weigh down the most vulnerable. Further speaking, the president said a fair tax system must never punish poverty or weigh down the most vulnerable. He said, and I quote, "With the new tax law I recently signed, taking effect from January 2026, we have lifted this burden and created a path of equity, fairness, and true redistribution in our economy." President Bola Tinubu said a personal income tax calculator has been developed which will allow people to check their estimated tax under the new laws against what they currently pay. He further explained that it shows clearly how this reform protects low-income earners, ensures progressivity, and simplifies compliance in order to deliver a transparent system that works for all. Tinubu further stated that together are all renewing hope in the Nigeria of their dream, adding that, and I quote, "Take a bet on our country, bet on Nigeria to work for you, your family, and your community." The head of enforcement at the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria, PCN headquarters, Suleiman Chiroma, has disclosed that about 486 medicine premises in Niger State has been sealed for various regulatory infractions, including operating without licenses, engaging unqualified personnel, and unauthorized sale of controlled drugs. Suleiman Chiroma disclosed this while briefing journalists at the North Central Zonal Office in Minna at the end of a week-long enforcement exercise. According to Chiroma, the affected premises include 69 pharmacies, 127 patent medicine shops, and 290 unlicensed outlets, while revealing that one individual was arrested and will be prosecuted for obstructing PCN inspectors in the course of their duties. Chiroma explained that the operation was strategically focused on evaluating premises, personnel, and pharmaceutical practices to ensure compliance with professional ethics and minimum standards that guarantee safe and quality service delivery. He noted the enforcement team uncovered numerous breaches, including the operation of unlicensed facility, non-compliance with regulatory guidelines, unauthorized clinical practice, sales of controlled medicine, and illegal training of apprentices. Chiroma further emphasized that licensed pharmacies and patent and proprietary medicine vendors, PPMVs, can be identified by the visible display of their valid licenses, urging the public to always verify this as a safeguard against quackery, adding that the nationwide enforcement exercise is designed to sanitize the pharmaceutical sector, protect public health, and reduce prevalence of substandard and falsified medical products. Chiroma commended the cooperation of the residents and assured that PCN will sustain efforts to eliminate unqualified practitioners and illegal premises across the country. The Ukrainian Council of Churches and Religious Organizations has called on churches across the world to join the World Prayer for Ukraine on Sunday, 24th August. The global prayer chain, which will be hosted by the Ukrainian Church the Ukrainian Council, I beg your pardon, of churches and religious organizations will be to ask God for a just and lasting peace and stop the war, and that light will overcome darkness. The prayer will be heard on the day when Ukraine, during ongoing Russian military aggression, will celebrate its 34th Independence Day. The prayer will also urge the protection of Christians in the occupied territories and for all those who minister under persecution, for the return of adopted children and healing, for wounded family, and for comfort for those who have lost loved ones, and for emotional and spiritual restoration. The Ukrainian Council of Churches noted that the online prayer calendar will allow churches and individuals to sign up for prayer time, and the prayer website will list prayer needed and provide other resources for reflection and sharing. The Ukrainian Council of Churches also stressed that about 700 temples and churches of various denominations have been destroyed and damaged because of the military action in Ukraine, and more than 70 Ukrainian pastors and priests have been killed by Russian troops. Furthermore, the World Council of Churches, WCC, commend all its member churches and economical partners on the need to join the call issued by the Ukrainian Council of Churches and religious organizations to join in the World Day of Prayer for the end of the war. Now we take a quick recap of our major story. The wife of the primate of all Nigerian president of Mothers Union, Women's Guild and Girls Organization, Mrs. Angela Undakuba, has encouraged women to keep up with the good work they are doing in the church. The Bishop of the Anglican Diocese on the Niger Right, Reverend Dr. Owen Chidozie Nwokolo, calls on the Christians to adhere on the status of Christ, as that qualifies one to be a friend of Christ. Plus, a professor of pharmaceutical and medicinal chemistry of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, Professor Mrs. Patient Ogoamaka Osadibe, says it is ripe for the Church to step in the provision of quality health care. And that is it on ACNN News on the Hour. Thank you for watching and have a blessed weekend ahead. I am Godwin Ujiri, and bye for now.